Welcome back to my channel. Israelis flee battlefields, refuse to fight Hamas and Hezbollah, reveals new data. This is something absolutely fresh. The Israeli Defense Forces, ITF, Israeli Terrorist Forces, face challenges as reservist turnout has dropped to 75 to 85% compared to the nearly 150% seen at the start of the war. And even sometimes it will exceed 150%. To extended deployments, this is what they're refusing. Extended deployments, they are also fatigued, they're frustrated with the lack of rotation. Adding to the strain is the exemption of many ultra-Orthodox Haredi males from service, with only about 1,800 joining the IDF annually despite significant need. This is coming at a time when Naim Qassem, the Secretary General of Hezbollah, mentioned there are tens and thousands of fighters joining Hezbollah. On the other hand, you have half of the reservists refusing to serve in the Israeli Zionist military. What is the end result? Well, asking Trump to send his army to fight for Israel, and I think Trump will be very happy to oblige. Now, I will be talking about this particular photo that you're seeing right now in a second, but let me remind you, most of my viewers are not subscribed. If you happen to be one of them, consider subscribing. Let's start with this particular news of this guy becoming the Secretary of State, the future Secretary of State of United States. Not a good news, because take a listen what he was saying. Iran wants to kill President-elect Donald Trump because the regime fears him. This is how bizarre, how dangerous his rhetorics are. Take a listen.
Sole source and the core source of instability and violence in the Middle East is the Ayatollah in Iran. And the only thing that Iran cares about more, the only thing they care about more than being the most powerful country in the Middle East, the only thing they care about more is regime survival. Surviving in power. And I think Donald Trump is a threat to that, which is why they want to kill him.
Okay, so that is, again, very, very scary. totally dangerous person. He wants a war with Iran, period. Donald Trump says, I'm anti-war. Then he appoints, the next thing you know, he appoints someone who wants war with Iran. Now, Marco Rubio, this is what he said back in the year 2016 when the deal was off the table with Iran. When he was asked this question, if Iran doesn't agree to the deal of the JCPOA.
So if you don't get a deal, what's the alternative? Do we have to go to war? Is it necessary to be absolutely certain they don't have a nuclear weapon or the capability to build one?
And I think that the best way to have achieved that is to leave in place both the unilateral sanctions and the international sanctions. You combine that with a very clear demarcation to the Iranian regime, and that is this. If you cross this threshold, you will face military action on the part of the United States. We don't want that to happen, but the risk of a nuclear Iran is so great that option must be on the table.
So if...
Okay, so again, war with Iran. We do not want a war with Iran, but we do, because that's really what we want to do. Our boss Netanyahu is gonna love this. Now, Trump, who Marco Rubio is, it is something you need to know. So Trump is considering, or he actually has already considered, according to some report, he's considering Marco Rubio for Secretary of State, the same Marco Rubio who called Trump a con artist. That is true. The same Zionist warmonger who puts Israel first. The same dude who wants war with Iran. Once again, stop saying Trump is anti-war. And this is exactly what a lot of people are saying. Yeah, we want Trump because he's going to stop war. The Muslims are so naive in United States, in Michigan. They voted for Trump. Oh, we want... Trump to stop the war. Now, Marco Rubio called the Palestinian resistance group animals. Take a listen.
Senator Rubio, will you call for ceasefire?
No, I will not. On the contrary.
Rubio,
are you filming it?
Wait,
I want you guys to get this. I want them to destroy every element of Hamas they can get their hands on. These people are vicious animals who did horrifying crimes. And I hope you guys post that.
And
that's
what
my
about the
position.
civilians
I
that are
blame
being
Hamas.
killed every day?
Hamas should stop hiding behind civilians, putting civilians in the way. Hamas knew that this was going to lead to this. So Hamas should stop building their military installations underneath hospitals.
So you
underneath
don't
civilians.
care that 15,000
Absolutely, I
have
do.
died? You don't care about the babies that are being
I
killed
think
every
it's
day?
horrifying. I think it's terrible, and I think Hamas is 100% to blame. That's what I think. Make sure you post that, please.
So
Well, again, can you imagine? He is saying Hamas to blame for everything. I mean, what about the innocent civilian getting killed in Lebanon, in Gaza? What about the genocide? No, it's Hamas's responsibility. And this is a pure example of a narcissist. And narcissist, if you do not know, look it up on Google. They are the most evil people on earth. They blame other people for their mistake. They blame people for their crime, for their genocide. It is not ever our fault. It is Hamas. It is somebody else. Look what they made us do this. This entire group of people who are either in the state of Zion, in the state of Israel, or supporting Israel in the United States, are all of them narcissists. Now, obviously, with this, these people are waking up, especially the Iranian government, and they are now meeting with different people. So Qasim al-Araji, Iraq's national security advisor, met with Syed Abbas Agharchi, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Islamic Republic of Iran, on Sunday afternoon. The meeting focused on key issues of mutual interest, such as reinforcing the diplomatic and security cooperation between the two countries. Good job. You guys really need to be united at this moment. Why? Because Trump is coming after you guys. So no more BS, no more bluffing. Get serious about this whole thing. And also, Saudi Arabia, they made a very good gesture with Iran. Fayed al-Ruali, Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of Saudi Arabia, met with Major General Bagheri, the Chief of Staff of Iran's Armed Forces, today in Tehran. So you see back-to-back meeting of these military officials. They are not diplomats. Okay, take notice. These are not diplomats. These are military people. And when they meet, basically they discuss about what? War, defense, budget, cooperation, and all those things. And their word is the final word for any country. The military is the main body, government body, when it comes to war and all that. So guys, Iran and Saudi Arabia, they're doing a tremendously good job by getting along with each other. Now, I also want to post a video before I talk more about the Zionist the terrorist forces who are fleeing. I want you to take a look at this particular statement from Amsterdam police chief when he was asked about who is responsible for the riot in Amsterdam.
Die supporters wordt op het Rokin een vlag van de gevel gehaald en ze vernielen een taxi. Op de Dam wordt de Palestijnse vlag in brand gestoken.
On the day of the match.
Okay, so again, he was absolutely spot on saying that the Palestinians, they did not do anything. It was the Zionist fan, the Al-Maccabi Tel Aviv, who started this riot, and therefore the Palestinians or pro-Palestinian or the Arabs should not be blamed. It is actually the other party who is totally 100% responsible. Now, Hamas, this is something coming on the news, continues to bleed Israeli troops. 34-year-old reservist officer killed in Gaza. A 34-year-old Israeli Defense Forces reserve officer, his name is Major Itamar Levin Friedman, was killed in North Gaza's Jabalia area. So this is happening in Jabalia camp. They're losing high-ranking officers every day. During ongoing fighting, Friedman, a high school math teacher and father of two, served in the elite Lower Elliot Eilat unit responsible for counterterrorism operations. Also, Hezbollah is mocking, Naim Qassem is mocking the Zionist forces, the Israeli terrorist forces, for not being able to capture one village. 45 days, quote, not even one village. New Hezbollah spokesperson mocks ITF's Lebanon incursion. He said, and his name is Muhammad Afif. This is what he said. Muhammad Afif mocked Israeli army's ground incursion of Lebanon. He claimed that despite 45 days of bloody fighting, the ITF had failed to capture even a single Lebanese village. He even denied Israel's claim that Hezbollah's missile stockpile was running low and that it had forwarded a ceasefire proposal to the Iran-backed group. shameful, how pitiful that is. Hezbollah is running out of stockpile of their missiles, something so strange, so bizarre. But again, this is the claim coming from ITF, and their claims are all false and absolutely BS. So the Israeli Defense Forces, in the beginning of the war, they were able to recruit a lot of volunteers, teachers, just like the one that got just killed, and many other fighters for their war. But now they are asking people to volunteer, especially for the reservist. The reservist, the way it works is that you serve in the military and then you quit. You take off and you do your own thing. You go back to your teaching, you go back to your science laboratory, whatever, because these are all volunteers in the reservist. Now these people are saying, in the beginning they said, okay, we are going to all come together to help you with the Israeli forces and their attack on Hamas and Hezbollah. We're going to volunteer. This is our job. This is what we want to do. And the percentage was 150%, so more than 100%. So they called, and some other people also said, we're going to volunteer. Maybe those people are handicapped or do not know. But all of the people of Israel, Zionist state, they said, we're going to volunteer. We're going to go and fight. Even though they were not called for, but they said, no, we're going to go and fight. Now they're being asked to go and come and fight. They say 75%. So the percentage dropped from 150% to what? 75%. Right? And so they're saying, half of them are saying, no, it's enough. We're frustrated. We can't deal with this anymore. We're not winning this war. And on top of all of this, to make things even worse, we know Netanyahu, he fired Yoav Gallant, the war minister. And Yoav Gallant has a lot of followings, especially from the military and also civilian who wants to fight. Now they're saying, wait a second, Netanyahu, this guy is lunatic, he doesn't know what he's doing, and he's now firing our guy, Yoav Gallant. We love him so much. So what they do, we're not going to fight. And the mutiny can happen at any time in the Israeli forces. Why? Because a lot of these soldiers, they support Yoav Gallant, that monster, and they want to fight for him, some of them. Things are looking absolutely pathetic for the Zionist state. What will happen in the coming days, obviously, is going to be much more worse. We are just seeing the tip of the iceberg. They are getting beaten up in Amsterdam. The Israelis, the Zionist forces, the terrorists, they're terrorizing the streets of Europe. But at the same time now, they are exposing to the whole world who they really are. These monsters, they must be stopped, and be stopped right now.